Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday, so you already know that it is a Motivation Monday video. So today our topic is it's just a season, this too shall pass. Okay, so I thought that would be a good idea for us to talk about seasons, life seasons, because the year is coming to an end. For many people, and towards the end of the year, so much is happening in different areas of life. People writing exams, whether you're in high school or you're in uni. People, wondering if their contract at work is going to be renewed, things like that. So I just thought it would be a good time to talk about seasons because, you never know what season everyone is in. So as usual, I have my trusted notes that are gonna, guide me through this video. Okay, so the first thing I just wanted to talk about is the fact that it's very easy to get stuck in the now. Whenever you're going through things, especially bad things, it's very easy for you to think, wow, I'm so sad, it's never gonna end, my life is over, all sorts of negative things like that. But then one thing we always fail to remember is that it's not a forever thing, it's going to pass. And just the fact that every season and everything we go through in life is a season, and you need to remember that not everything in nature blooms all year round. Okay, there's times when flowers are in bloom, and then the petals and the leaves fall off, and then it starts growing again, and then the leaves and the flowers come out and all of that, and then the cycle just repeats itself. So yeah, not everything in nature blooms all year round, and you need to realize that it's the same with you, right? There's going to be times when things are going really well, and there's also going to be times when things aren't going as great as you'd like or as expected, but that doesn't mean that it's the end, and it doesn't mean that it's always going to be like that for a long time. Also, I saw a quotation on Pinterest. You already know I love my Pinterest for quotations. And it says, to survive, do what seasons do. Change. Okay, so I would say whether it's changing your mindset, your plans, your methods, I would say just whenever you are going through a tough season for whatever reason, maybe it's tough academically, maybe it's tough financially, maybe you're going through a tough time in your relationships with your family, friends, actual bays and whatever, it's okay. Just adapt things, change your mindset, change how you do things. Maybe all you need to do is just tweak the way you do things, tweak your mentality, and just remember that you need to adapt and move accordingly, but also just never lose sight of the goal. Whatever your goal in life is, I feel like everyone has their own things that they live for, so don't ever lose sight of that, even if you are going through a hard time. Okay, another quotation that I really love when it comes to talking about seasons and just strengthening, myself whenever I feel down and out about things and I feel like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen next, is this quotation from her book, The Path Made Clear. If you've never read that book, please do. I found it to be an amazing book, and I've actually read it twice already this year. It's very enlightening, and it's a really easy read, mostly quotations and short stories from Oprah, different people that she's interviewed, so, check that out. But anyway, the quotation is, I am a child of God, meaning I am connected to all that is, and because of that, all that is possible for me. Yeah, you need to realize that whatever situation you are in, whatever things you want to work out in your life, whatever season you're in that doesn't quite feel like the season you want to be in, remember that because you are a child of God, all things are possible for you, because all things are in Him. So if you are a child of God, surely anything that is possible in the world is possible for you. So you just need to remember, that everything happens for a reason. Everything has a time and a place. And, you also need to ask yourself, whenever you are in a season where actually in any season, good times and bad times, ask yourself, what am I learning in this season? I'm someone who very much likes to look at situations that I go through and things that I feel and just everything. And I always ask myself, what is this teaching me? What have I learned from this? So look at the season that you're in and maybe try to establish if there are some things that you are learning in this season. Maybe you are going through a tough season, to remember that God is your source, or, to realize that you need to work harder, whatever it is. Yeah, and just remember that the only constant in life is change. The only constant in life is change. Nothing is always going to stay the same forever. And there is purpose in every single season. Even if it's a bad season, if it's a good season, whatever the season, there's always a reason for it. There's always a purpose behind it. And I find that always remembering that this is happening for a reason and this isn't going to last forever really, really helps you. So you really need to get into that mindset, and also just always choose positivity. Whatever it is you'll be going through, just, one of those, I'm sad right now, but I'm not going to be sad forever. Or, today's a bad day, but, it doesn't mean that I have a bad life. Whatever it is, just choose to always be positive. And another great thing that always helps me is to envision or think about a brighter day, like what I would like my life to be like. Maybe let's say I'm having like a really bad day and I'm like, I don't know, really sad. Think about what it is that your day would be like if you were actually happy, if you were doing the things that you'd loved, how you'd feel, what the atmosphere would be like, what the environment would be like what would that day be like. And yeah, thinking about or daydreaming about the finer days or the better days is a great way to actually just brighten up your spirits and be more hopeful. Okay, and yeah, just be someone who always stays expectant. So always continue to expect that good things are going to happen to you. Always expect and be hopeful that, everything's going to be fine and that not everything is going to stay bad forever. And yeah, just to sort of round up everything that I'm saying about seasons and how not everything is permanent, there is a verse in Ecclesiastes. So basically, Ecclesiastes, am I saying that right? I don't know. Ecclesiastes 3, the whole of chapter 3, so verses 1 to 11. I'm just going to pick out certain verses from the first one up until the last one, but like the first one and the last one. So Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 and Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11, those are really, they just sum it up really well. But anyway, so verse 1 says, "For everything there is a reason, a time for every activity under heaven." Okay, so there is a season for everything, and there is a time for every activity under heaven. There's a time to be born, a time to die. There's a time to tear down, and there's a time to build. Then right at the end, the last verse says, "Yet the Lord has made everything beautiful in its own time." So just to sum that up, I'd just like to say that, yeah, remember that every single thing that happens in life, everything, there is a season for it. There's a time and a place to do things a certain way. There's a time and a place for this to happen. There's a time and a place for that to happen. And you need to remember that you are running your own race in your own lane. You don't know what God's plan for that person is, what that person is. You need to remember that you are in your own lane and you are in your own season at different times than other people, okay? And remember that at the end of the day, even if you would like it to be a different season or whatever, remember that everything is beautiful in its own time. So, maybe, I don't know. An example I can think of is something like you're doing your A-levels, right? Everyone's writing exams. Then when you finish your A-levels, everyone's results come out at the same time. But then, obviously, some people go to uni straight away. Some people only go to uni in June. Some people go to uni in September. Some people take the whole year off. Some people don't go to uni. Some people go to work straight away. some people go to uni 4 years later, you know? So it's one of those situations where it's like, it was still a beautiful thing for each of these various people that I spoke about just to go to uni. But then it happened in its own time. For someone else, the time for them to go to uni was straight after A levels. For someone else, it was a year later. For someone else, it was 4 years later. It doesn't change the fact that they went to uni is still beautiful. Okay, it's just that that beauty showed up in their lives at its own time, and you need to realize that even in your life, everything will be made beautiful in its own time. And every season is just a season. A season is a period of time during which something happens. Okay, a period of time, an allocated time. Okay. At the allocated time, things are going to change. At the allocated time, you're going to get that job. At the allocated time, you're going to get that degree. At the allocated time, you're going to get married. At the allocated time, you're going to be found to be cancer free. Whatever it is, just remember that your season is your season alone. It's just a season. It's coming to an end. It's not a lifelong thing. And, you know, God will always make a way. God will always fix it. Things will never always be the same. Things are going to get better. Things are going to get worse. It's always a journey, okay? The road isn't, clear. The road isn't straight. There's going to be humps. There's going to be a bush you need to go around. There's going to be curves. There's going to be so much that happens. But that is the beauty of your journey. Embrace it and, love it. Just remember, it's not permanent. It's going to change. It's going to be worth it. Okay, so that was our video on seasons, and I hope that I said something useful for someone out there. I hope that this was a good reminder. I know it's a reminder that I needed right now at this particular time in my life. Right now, I needed to hear this message, so I hope it was useful to you. I hope I wasn't talking nonsense. And yeah, I hope you guys tune in again on Wednesday for my makeup tutorial. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe.